Have you ever just looked at your life and thought, will I ever be enough? Will I ever measure up? Maybe you're stuck in this constant cycle of comparing yourself to others at work, with your family, with your friends, and you just keep on thinking, will I ever be enough? Hello lovely people, and welcome back to another episode of She, Body and Spirit, where we talk all things women, health and faith-based. This is episode 3 of the Self series, and today we are going to be talking about, will I ever be enough? So let's get chatting. The truth is, if you are going to keep comparing yourself to others out there, to social media, to family, to friends, to everyone around you, you are never going to truly be enough. You are never going to measure up for yourself if you are going to compare yourself to others. In this episode, I want to dive deeper into measuring up for yourself, measuring up for who you want to be, and being good enough for yourself. For me personally, measuring up for yourself is not just about achieving certain goals that you set for yourself or looking a certain way, but it's also about acting a certain way. A thing I have been struggling most with is when you do everything right, you are exercising, you are eating right, you are reading Bible, but you are not acting accordingly. So the thing I've been struggling most with is, what does it look like to sometimes not feel it like you are enough? It can come in the form of your emotions are a bit rattled, you become a little bit more short-tempered, you look at everyone's posts online and you see a certain version of them and you feel like you're not that version of yourself, and then you get stuck in a constant cycle of comparing to others. And get to work and you look at someone and you're like, I don't dress that way, my hair doesn't look that way, my makeup isn't done that way. So it's comparing yourself on an emotional but also physical level to someone else and to the world and to what's out there. But we don't remember that comparison is the thief of joy. So just if we unravel that little statement, comparison is the thief of joy. Why is comparison the thief of joy? Because you are never going to feel enough. And if you are not enough for yourself, then you're not going to feel fulfilled in any aspect of your life. You're going to, like I said, constantly be short-tempered. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be anxious. You're going to not be able to. It ties in with last week's episode. If you want to go watch that, it's about confidence. So go and watch that. I'll link it below. But it's constantly being stuck and not having confidence. So you're going to go out in a crowd and you're not going to have the confidence to be yourself, because you're going to sit there in a small world of, I'm not good enough, I don't measure up, I'm not like that person. And you're going to start making yourself and your voice small, and you're going to shrink yourself. But the golden question is, what is my top tips for actually feeling good enough for yourself, for actually being good enough in the Lord's eyes, for actually fulfilling yourself and unshrink yourself, get yourself out of that I'm not good enough box? It's not a quick fix, it's not a linear path, and it's not an overnight change. But we can always start somewhere and take it bit by bit. So I think the first step is to always remember what the Lord says about us. Always know you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He knew you before he created you in the womb. Always remember that stuff, that He's always with you, that He created you in His image, and that's the most important thing, is because He created you in His image, meaning you are already a creation in His image. And how beautiful is that we can already be creations in His image. So do not overwhelm yourself with massive changes or life changes. Start little by little. Don't decide to change everything in your life overnight, but instead take it little bit by little bit. What I mean by that is, start setting 3 goals for yourself each day. Set it at night, write it down in a journal, and the next night you come back to that journal and you write about what you have had success in and what not and why. So this will look like, I would like to go to the gym for 20 minutes, or I would like to do a home workout for 20 minutes. I would like to play with my dogs for 15 minutes more, and I would like to serve someone. I would like to make a cup of coffee for someone or a plate of food when normally I would not do that. Or it could also look like changing, because we talked about changing your emotions. So it could also be emotional stuff, like could be emotional, like writing down, like not getting angry when your sibling asks you something for a cup of coffee. You would normally be like, I'm only making a cup of coffee for myself. Maybe make them that cup of coffee. It could be a little small action like that which will contribute to the bigger picture. Then, like I said, it is important to know the words, what the Lord says about you, His word. Journal and track what you've done well, what you've achieved, what you want to achieve. And if this is physical, if this is something like, I want to get a raise, or I want to do my hair a certain way, that's also okay. But also write that down and track, but do not tie your identity to physical things. We have to try and fix our emotional side, and then the physical will fix itself. We so often think that if we fix our physical life, everything will be okay. And I've personally been experiencing that. If I go to the gym, if I eat healthy, everything in my personal life, emotional life will fall in place. And I got it so wrong. Yes, being healthy contributes so much. Eating healthy, it helps so much. It's a balance. And that I've learned now, that you can't try and do the one and the other one's going to fall in place. That's not going to happen. That's not how this is going to work. You have to do both in a balanced way. So if you're going to try and do gym, eat healthy, limit your screen time, you're going to have to try and control that anger. You're going to have to try and control the sin that has a hold over you. You're going to have to try and but control the emotion that's lingering and giving you unwell feeling. And this is all going towards the bigger picture of being good enough. As soon as you get your balance in your life, and you start noticing that you can also achieve certain things. You're achieving it on your own time, but you are achieving. So keeping track and everything is going to help so much, because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see, but wow, I'm actually doing things and achieving things. And when that's going to happen in your own life, you're going to stop worrying less about everyone else. And if you're going to set goals for yourself and focus on that goals, you're going to stop worrying about everyone else, because you're going to be too focused on your goals and learning what the Lord says about you and learning what He tells you about yourself, that you're going to forget about the worldly stuff, the people of the world that you're trying to compare yourself to so hard every day. So I've named a few things. Another thing I want to bring up is just to do affirmations, like see yourself in a picture. Don't talk down on yourself, because we tend to say, you know what, I'm so stupid, why did I do this? That words have so much impact on your everyday life. If you're going to say, I'm so stupid, why did I do that? You're going to start your brain's going to start believing that. Your brain believes what we tell it to believe. So your brain's going to start believing, but okay, then probably I am stupid. Or look at this clothes, I look so fat in it today. Then your brain's going to start believing that. But if you just say to yourself, I actually look good in this outfit, even if you don't really feel good, I actually look good in this outfit, but let me go change the shirt because it's a bit uncomfortable, or it doesn't bring my color out. Changing your words about how you talk about yourself, and you start talking to yourself like that, and notice the change that it's going to make in your life. So I've mentioned knowing what God says about yourself, journaling and tracking, affirmations, saying things about yourself and believing those things, and focusing on your goals and your measurements, your personal stuff. And then I've also mentioned balancing, not trying to fix the one thing and expecting the other thing to fall in place. If you're going to work on your physical health, just like we work on our physical health, gym, etc., we're going to have to work on those emotions. So yeah, I think just focusing on that stuff, focusing on yourself, making sure there's balance, not expecting one thing to magically fix whatever is going on in the other aspect, making sure we focus on emotional regulation is important. We can't just go to the gym, yes, that's going to help, or home workouts or whatever. Just talking in general, yeah, but because I go to gym, but just like taking that, yes, because it's so good for your physical health. But if you're not going to try and emotionally regulate yourself, hold that anger in, and when someone tries to tell you something and you feel like you're going to snap, like let's say your mom struggles with the TV remote and you feel like you're going to snap, just helping her instead, doing that emotional regulation and praying over yourself for emotional regulation is going to make you feel so much better about yourself. So these things are all going to contribute to the bigger picture, which is actually feeling good enough for yourself and measuring up to your life. We don't need to measure up to a celebrity's life. We don't need to measure up to a friend's life. We need to measure up in our life. And if we're going to start seeing what our faults are, and we're going to start evaluating and trying to fix our faults one by one with the Lord and praying, we're going to forget about the world's image. We're going to forget about the image we're trying to create of we want to be that person. Try and look at yourself and better yourself little by little with affirmations, tracking, journaling, and it's going to make a massive difference in your life. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. There's still a lot coming. Next week we're wrapping up this series, and then there's exciting things ahead. So please support my channel and we can make a difference. And I hope this helped you in some way. That's my goal with every video, is that it just helps someone in some way. Have a great week. Bye.